board and get started. So in this class, we are going to, well, I'll just give a little introduction what we're going to do so you can have that in your mind and what we're working towards. But we are going to work mainly on the lower body. I mean, everything that we do is for everything. But we're going to do a lot of work in the lower body, in the legs, in the hip joints. And today the practice is going to be a little bit more fluid. We are going to do what we call in Katonah Yoga water salutations, which if you follow me on Instagram, maybe you saw a little video of that. It's a variation on a traditional sun salutation, or a traditional moon salutation actually, but we're going to do it for quite a few minutes, probably like 10 minutes. And the point of that is to really move some of the energy that may feel stagnant. I've gotten a lot of feedback that yes, people might be going out for walks and doing home workouts, but that cardio and that movement that we get every day is missing. So we're going to do that. And then we're also going to do what we call in Katonah Yoga, King of the Mountain, where we hold a block above our heads. And if you don't have a block, you'll just hold your arms above your heads. And this can be very challenging, but I encourage you always with this practice to find your edge. And just because something is uncomfortable, not to poop out of it right away. Like sit with that edge. The point of this is we're going to agitate you. We're going to move some of those waters that live in the lower half of your body. And the King of the Mountain helps flush that out. So let's go ahead and get started in a downward facing dog. We're just going to jump right in. Hey, Jess. So if you are just joining, don't worry, you didn't miss anything. We are getting started in a dog. So I like to measure out my dog by coming into a plank pose and then coming back to dog. In a Katonah practice, we are big proponents of bending the knees and lifting the heels. This helps you get into your lower body. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can angle this a little bit better so that you guys can see me. I think that's a little better. So bend in the knees, lift the heels up, lift the buttock bones up. And one way that you can tell if your feet are in the right position is first measure it out to plank. So you can come forward to your high plank pose. And then you keep your hands and your feet right where they are to come back to a dog. The heels are lifted, but they're not hiked up so much. It's not like you're wearing a 6-inch stiletto. They're lifted enough, but not so much that you have wrinkles in the front of your foot. So if you look back at your feet, they should be smooth. There shouldn't be a ton of wrinkles in the front of your toes. So heels are lifted, knees are bent, buttock bones lift up. Press into the floor to lengthen out of your spine. And then just find yourself in this dog, using all 4 points of contact, finding your strength, your structure, your stability. Maybe noticing where you're at today. If you want to move a little bit in your dog, you absolutely can. Going from one hand to the other hand, one foot to the other foot. And then finding all 4 corners. So pressing down through your hands, pressing down through the balls of your feet, and then lifting up. So your buttock bones are the apex of this pose. You can imagine that someone's behind you and they're really lifting you up, lengthening out of your spine. On your next inhale, come forward to your plank pose. So you should be right in that measurement, all 4 corners of plank. And then send it back to a downward facing dog, hinging in the hips. Inhale forward to your plank, look forward, maybe see someone on the screen in front of you. And back to a dog. And then we'll move between those 2 shapes, forward to a plank, back to a dog. You can pump it really fast. You feel like you have some energy, you want to move through and get out, or you can do it a little bit slower. But you are moving from a hinge in those hips. So seeing if you can really work that first fold of the body. Once you've had enough of that, we'll meet back in dog. Again, orienting, hand, hand, foot, foot, pressing the floor away. On your next breath in, you'll come forward to your plank. And then drop your hips for a modified up dog. So you don't need to drop your hips all the way down to the mat. In fact, if you're somebody who goes extra deep, if you know you have a lot of range and you do have a yoga block or some books that you can put underneath you, you can put those as a boundary so that you can't go all the way down. You should not feel this in your lower back. If you do, lift up a little higher, fire back through those heels. And then come back to your dog and move between those shapes, coming forward to your modified up dog, keeping the toes tucked, pulling the heart between the arms, and back to your downward facing dog. The whole time firing back through the heels. So this is a really nice one. If you do have a wall near you, a wall behind you, you can bring your heels up to a wall and keep them pressing into the wall as you move between these two shapes. Again, our society, or maybe I didn't say this in this class already, but we are very much up here. We like to handle things. We like to do things. We like to sign checks, make deals, text on our phone, type on our computers. And so we tend to do a lot of our yoga from up here as well. And there's not a bad thing, and you can pause when you need to pause, or you can keep going. We'll meet in downward facing dog. There's nothing wrong with being able to handle situations, but you also want to be able to be. And our being sense is in this lower half of the body, or this lower third of the body, our foundation, our legs. Great. Finding yourself in a dog. Again, all 4 points of contact, hand, hand, foot, foot. And then we're going to do something called cross-referencing here. So let's all make sure that we are measured out properly. One more time, come forward to your plank. Your hands should be right underneath your shoulders. Let's drop the knees down just to get a good measurement for the arms. Turn the fingers in towards one another. The middle finger should just touch. And then the fingers can go back forward. Again, making sure that your shoulders are over your wrists. If you have a side view of yourself, you can see that. Or if you have a front view, you can see if you're super wide or if your hands are underneath your shoulders. Also, if you have a block or a book, you can put it up against your forearm just to find that boundary. And then send the feet back, finding the plank, nice long line. Hips come back to downward facing dog. And then we're going to cross-reference in this shape. So find your right buttock bone and lift it up. While you keep lifting up through your right buttock bone, press down and away through your left palm. Lift up through your left buttock bone. Press down and away through your right palm. By cross-referencing in this way, you're creating more space in your torso. You're creating more space in the housing of your organs and glands for your body to function. So let's try that one more time in a different way. Breathe in and lift up. Well, we'll do the same way. Lift up through your right buttock bone. Press down through your left hand. Lift up through your left buttock bone. Press down through your right hand. Now we'll do it a little differently through the legs. Lift up through your right buttock bone. Energetically press down through that left foot. Lift up through your left buttock bone and energetically press down through your right foot. Finding all that space. Good. Drop down onto hands and knees. Anyone sweating yet? I am. Yes. Great. Welcome to your lower body. So find your hands and knees, your tabletop position, and you really want to be the archetype of a table, which is hilarious because I have a table right here and it's kind of almost my height. So maybe you have a bed next to you or a table next to you, but look at it. Most of them are formed at right angles. And that's what we want to create in the body. So the knees are right underneath the hips. The hands are right underneath the shoulders. If you have a block or anything that has a right angle, you can put that up against your thigh to measure out. You can put it up against your forearm to measure out. You can turn your fingers towards one another. Once again, that's your shoulder width distance. And if you're ever practicing with a friend, you can always ask them, am I at a right angle? And then you're slightly sticking the buttock bones out. So there is an engagement in the core. We're not just sinking the belly down like we would in our cow pose. We're not rounding the spine, but the buttock bones go out, the collarbones go wide, and the gaze is forward. Notice what happens when you drop your head. When you drop your head, you automatically round your tail. You're looking back into yourself, into your past. That's not exactly what we want here in our stable table. We want to have that tabletop shape. Okay, from this place, we're going to move. So now as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, look up. You can really stretch through the front of your body, through your throat, pull your heart between your arms. And then as you exhale, coil and round, press the floor away. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, look up. Exhale, coil and round. So you're going to continue to move through your cat and cow. And like we did from down dog to plank and down dog to up dog, you can really kick your own butt here. And oftentimes we need to kick our own butts if we're inherently someone who's super stable, super, cautious. Let this get a little crazy. And if you are someone who always goes for the extreme version, who's super active, run, 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 go, 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 maybe you take it just a little bit slower than is comfortable for you. Keep pressing the tops of your feet into the mat. That's going to take some of the pressure out of the knees. And again, get you into that lower body. So for these next 10, just take it to the finish, really race it like you're running a race. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in, look up, and exhale, let it go. Right fingertips flip around. So right fingertips all the way back towards your knees. The heels of the hands line up. So if you move the hand forward and back, adjust it so that it's still underneath your shoulder. You're in the shoulder joint, and then we're going to go around it. Not only are we going around the shoulder here, we're also going around the wrist. So moving in one direction, keep pressing through those feet, and then look forward. Look what's out in front of you. Maybe you lock eyes with someone on the screen. Maybe you catch a glimpse of something out the window in front of you. The other day when I was teaching a class, I literally said, look forward, and there was a bee buzzing right outside the window, staring at me. It was really cool. Okay, switch directions, go the opposite direction. And this is like flossing for your wrists. Yes, we're getting into the shoulders here too, but the main focus is the wrists. Especially with now more than ever, we're doing more online, more on our phones, more on our computers. It's really, really important that we clean out these joints. Come back through center without any fuss, without any drama. Just plug that hand back in the forward way. Flip the left palm around 180 degrees and start to take circles around this wrist. Notice if you feel anything different here. If there's a place within the joint, within that circle that you don't like to go to, where you kind of glitch out, and then look forward. So you're looking what's out in front of you. And that also allows this left collarbone to broaden to its own side. Switch directions. This is something that you can do every single day or whenever you think about it. Whenever you're in a yoga class, you can always just flip your wrists. Great. And then come back through center, plug that hand down. Now we're going to interlace the fingers to the webbing. So as if you're stringing a tennis racket, you want to interlace the fingers to the webbing, and they're going to go right underneath your sternum. Right underneath your sternum. So not underneath your face. It's that bone in the center of your chest. And then start to take circles with your hips. So first, really articulate this like you are a hula hooper. So see if you can just look forward, the shoulders aren't moving, the head isn't moving, and you are swirling your hips. Okay, so you can think hula hooper, you can think that you are mixing something in a bowl, you can think that you are a belly dancer, whatever metaphor, whatever imagery works for you. And then really start to fire it up. Start to swirl it around, move it around. I like to call this the sneaky ab workout. Press down through your palms and notice where you're putting your weight. Try and equally distribute the weight through all four corners here, which is your the heel of your hand, the pinky side heel of the hand, the thumb side heel of the hand, and then also lift up through the center. Keep looking forward, take another round in and out, come back through center, switch it the other direction. So you can keep going here. If you want extra credit or extra work, flip the palms over so that you're on the back of the hand. Ow. Yeah, it's gonna be intense. Keeping that interlace coming onto the back of the hand. At any time you can flip back to where we were before, but you can also be here and start to move it around. So we're going counterclockwise, again, isolating the movement in that lower body and letting our hands stabilize us. Creating one big hand right underneath your heart, right underneath the center of you, letting that be your center, your stabilization. Nice. Go for another few, really start to whip it up. It can get a little crazy. Moving that ancestral waters that exists in the lower body and the kidneys, moving that heat. And then come back through center. You can stay right here. You can come back to where we were before, pausing, or for one final variation of this, flip the hands all the way around so that the thumbs come back towards the knees. The eyes of the wrist, so the inner wrist start to face forward. This is intense. Maybe you get it part of the way there, maybe you get it all the way down, and just start to move a little forward and back, side to side. Feel what this feels like. Hello, wrists. Hello, wrists. So this is gonna help us, this work that we're doing here is gonna help us later when we do our King of the Mountain, we hold our hands above. Okay, that's enough. Come back through center, even everything out. So you're in your regular cat-cow, and let's just take a few cat-cows to iron things out, to even things out. Feel what it feels like to be normal, for everything to face the normal way. And then pause in the center, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. All right, if you have a block, this is a great time to grab your block. We're gonna come to sit back on the heels. So you'll tuck your toes and come to sit back on your heels. You might be cool staying here, but we will be here for a moment. And so you might wanna put this block underneath your butt, in between your butt and the heels of your feet. If you have a pillow, you can also put that there. A rolled up blanket works as well. It just takes some of the pressure off. So here we're just gonna pause. Sometimes we do breath work here. This time we're gonna do a little shoulder flossing. So same interlace of the fingers that we just had, this tennis interlace. And then bring the hands behind the head. Just bring them to the nape of the skull. Take a moment and stretch up. Elbows go straight up. Big breath in. Maybe send that breath down into your toes. Big breath out. And then come back through neutral. And we're gonna start to go in a clockwise direction. So behind you, you're just gonna start to move your arms in this circle. I'm gonna turn around so that you guys can see what I'm doing from behind. If this ever becomes too much in the feet, again, stay with it for a moment, but you can come down. Make sure you're not splaying the ribs out, kind of tuck your ribs in a little bit so you're engaging in the core, and just flossing through the shoulders. Go ahead and switch directions, so go counterclockwise. Try and keep that interlace, that connection with the fingers. Oh yeah. And then come back through center one more time. Interlace the fingers behind the head, look up, maybe a little back bend here. And exhale, release, untuck the toes, remove your prop if you had it, and you can tap the tops of the feet onto the mat. Letting that go. All right, last one down here, come back to sit on your heels, this time with the toes untucked. So we're on the top of the foot. The top of the foot is connected to this front hinge in the hip, and we're gonna be doing a lot of lunging later, so it's great to open this up. Start to lift your knees if you can. If you can't, you might just sit here. Make sure that you're not rounding through the spine or tucking your tail. You wanna keep that long spine, that lift. But you can also start to lift your knees, really opening up through the fronts of the feet, the tops of the ankles. You can take some circles. You can sway from side to side. Similar to what we were doing with our wrists, this is like flossing for our ankles. We're going into that joint and we're cleaning it out. You can also play with getting a little hang time here, reaching for your knees, lifting your heart up. And it's almost like you have a back bend. So there's an arch in that spine, or curve, a crescendo in that spine. Good. Come forward back onto hands and knees, tuck your toes, send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. One thing about doing yoga on a mat on the carpet is that the mat moves with me. Beautiful. Okay, go from hand to hand, foot to foot. Once again, finding yourself in your archetypical dog. If you need to come forward to your plank, you can do that, measuring it out. And then we're gonna work here in being in the lower body. So bend in the knees, lift the buttock bones up, look forward, bring your right hand to your lower back. See if you can bring your hand there without moving anything else in your body. This is new for you. It might be challenging. You might just start with lifting that right hand off the mat. Bring the right hand down. Left hand comes to your lower back. Palm faces up, so you're opening up through the collarbone. Look forward, open up through those collarbones. Good. And then hand comes down. You can take it one more time each side, holding for a few breaths, or you can walk it out, seeing if you can make the movement really smooth without wavering through the hips. Good. Inhale, come forward to your plank pose. Look forward, fire those heels back, and send it back, downward facing dog. Drop your knees onto the mat, come to sit back on your heels. If you need a sip of water, this is a great time to take a sip of water. We're gonna do our moon salutations now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through it once really slow, and I encourage you guys to watch. Then we'll go through it slow once together. Then I'm gonna attempt to put on the music, and we're gonna just do it continuously. And you can do it a little bit faster, you can do it a little bit slower, but this is where, again, it's like the yoga cardio. It's this movement that's gonna get the waters moving. And you can think of it too as like a little bit of a moving meditation. Once you get into a rhythm and a flow, just keep riding that. So how we're gonna start here, and again, you can just watch for this one because it is probably a little different unless you've done these before. You're gonna start in a seed pose. So you'll sit back on your heels, knees forward, and then your head will drop down to your knees. You're in this little seed, hinging at your hips, and you hold on for your heels. So this is where we begin, and this is also where we end. The first breath, we come up, reaching the arms up like you're circling the moon with your arms. And then your hands come forward in front of you, reaching forward. The next breath, you're gonna slither forward onto your belly, but you don't have to come all the way onto your belly. You're gonna actually come forward, tuck your toes, and come into this upward facing dog shape. So that modified upward facing dog. So I'll show that again. Inhale, rise up. Exhale to fold. Next breath is to slither into your modified upward facing dog. Bring it back, downward facing dog. Cool, got it. Right foot steps forward to your right thumb. Step it all the way there. Back knee is gonna drop down. Usually we untuck the toes and plug the foot in. I encourage you to keep the toes tucked just because we're not gonna be here for long. You can reach the arms up again, encircling the moon if you'd like, or you can just pause here because we will be moving pretty rapidly, so you might just pause. Look forward, step that left foot forward to meet the right. Come all the way up to stand, reach up, hands to your heart and pause. And then we come down the same way that we came up. Inhale, reach up, exhale to fold, step the right foot back, so same foot steps back, so you're on the opposite side, drop the back knee down. You can keep the back toes tucked, you can reach the arms up, or you can keep them down, and then we step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to your upward facing dog, and then drop it back to your seed child's pose. All right, I'm gonna do it one time quickly, and then we're gonna start to move through it together. So, starting in a seed, inhale to rise up, exhale to come forward. Wave yourself forward. So pull your chest between your arms. I come onto my knees here, tuck the toes, send it back, downward facing dog. This time I'm gonna step the left foot forward first, lunge, step the right foot forward, fold. Rise up, however you wanna rise up. Hands to your heart, pause. Reverse it, inhale, reach up. Exhale to fold. Left foot steps back, knee down, reach the arms up. Hands down, downward facing dog. Roll it out long, plank, modified up dog. Drop your knees, come back into your seat. And then it starts over again. Okay, any questions before we begin? This is gonna be fun. I'm gonna see if I can put this music on because it is nice to have it to music. Let's see. But we'll do it one round without any music, slow together so you can start to feel it in your body. Let's see. Okay. We're gonna see how that works, but again, we're gonna do it one time together, slow. So everyone come into your C pose. Michelle, if you wanna start, just seated up on your heels, that's great. So come into your seat, see if you can get your eyeballs to your knees and get your hands to connect to your heels. The thighs are together, the knees point straight forward. As you inhale, reach your arms up, maybe look up. Exhale, hands come down in front of you. You're still in that little seed shape in your lower body. Slither forward, arms come between your hands for your modified upward facing dog. Tuck the toes, and then send it back, downward facing dog. Hinge from your hips. As you inhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Drop your back knee down. You can keep the toes tucked, reach your arms up, low lunge. Hands drop down, step it forward, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, look up, hands to your heart, and pause. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale to fold forward. Right foot steps back, low lunge, drop the back knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands come down, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, modified upward facing dog, and then come back to your seed. Let your arms reach for your heels, take a moment and pause. One more time without music, and then I'll try and put the music on. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, hands forward, slither forward onto your belly. Upward, modified upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, hinge from your hips. Step your left foot forward to your left thumb, drop your back knee down. Reach your arms up. Drop your hands down, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Hands to your heart, pause. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale to fold. Left foot steps back, drop the back knee down, reach the arms up, low lunge. Hands come down, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to your modified upward facing dog, drop your knees, seed pose, hips to your heels, hands come back to your heels. Take a moment and pause. Taking a moment and pause. Okay, Kim said, can you remind me what's modified about the up dog? Toes tucked. So it's really helpful, just keep your toes tucked the whole time. We don't come up onto the top of the foot here. All right, let's see how this works with the Z music. Oh, that's on my phone. Use this as a break because we're going to start moving in a second. Can you guys hear it okay? No? Yes? Okay, great. Come back into your seed. We're going to try and do it to the music. And ready? Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands come forward. Slide forward into your modified upward facing dog, toes tucked. Downward facing dog, hips go up and back. Right foot steps forward, low lunge. Drop your back knee down, reach your arms up. Hands come down to surround that front foot. Step forward, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Hands come to your heart. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Right foot steps back, low lunge. Drop the back knee down, arms reach up. Hands come down to the mat, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward, modified upward facing dog. Drop your knees, hips to heels, seat holds. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, come on up, reach up. Exhale, hands come down, slither forward, modified upward facing dog, heels go back. Downward facing dog, hips go up and back. Left foot steps forward, drop your back knee down, reach your arms up. Drop your hands down, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Hands to your heart, take a pause. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Step your left foot back, back knee down. Inhale, arms reach up. Hands come down, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward, modified upward facing dog. And back to your seat pose. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, hands forward, slither forward, coming into that modified up dog. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Right foot forward, back knee down. Reach your arms up. Hands forward, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, arms reach up. Hands to your heart. Moment of pause. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale to hold. Step your back foot, your right foot back. Back knee down. Inhale, arms reach up. Hands come down to the mat. Step it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, forward, modified up dog. Knees to the mat, hips to heels. Seed pose. Take a breath in and a breath out. One more time, I'm going to cue you through it. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands come forward. Slide forward, modified upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, back knee down, arms reach up. Hands to the mat, step it forward, forward fold. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale to fold. Left foot steps back, back knee down, arms reach up. Exhale, hands down, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to a modified up dog, and back to your seed pose. Take a breath in and a breath out. So now we're gonna do it by ourselves. I'll still cue some of it, but you go at your own pace. And if you forget something, no worries, just keep moving. Know that you always go up and then back the same way. All right, very cool. Let's start in our seed. If you're already going, just keep going. Starting in your seed and moving at your own pace. Arms reach up and forward. If you get lost, maybe look at someone else. You can always look at me, see what I'm doing, and sync up with someone on the screen. The important thing is that you keep moving. Maybe challenging yourself to go a little faster and feels comfortable. Really letting this be a cardio workout. Maybe syncing yourself up with the music, letting yourself feel the rhythm, tuning into the moving meditation. music's gonna end, we're gonna keep going. Just for another few moments, actually a few minutes, more than a moment, because I really want this to create that movement in the body that we've all been missing, or that most of us have been missing. Letting yourself release the connection to the outcome, to the ending, and allowing yourself to just be here in the moment. Maybe feeling this new rhythm, connecting to the beat, connecting to your own beat. And if you mess up, if you miss a beat, no worries, just keep going. Jump back in. We are almost done. About one more minute left in this song. Just keep going. Maybe doing one more side. A little bit time left. Evening yourself out. And we will all meet in a seat. Taking a moment in your seed pose. Maybe feeling the beat of your heart Feeling your lungs as they connect to your thighs. Fun fact, your lungs are the same size and shape as your thighs. Connecting your hearing to your breathing. Starting to self-soothe by breathing in and out. Letting that ocean-like sound of your breath bring you back down. When you feel ready, you can come up to sit. Great time to grab a sip of water. Definitely got some heat moving in me. I don't know about you all. And now for the cherry on top of the sundae, we're gonna do King of the Mountain. So what we're gonna do here, if you do have a block, and like I said, if this is something you've done before, if you really wanna challenge yourself, you'll put the block on your hands. But essentially we're gonna interlace the hands to the webbing like we did when we were in our cat and cow and doing some of that wrist work. We're gonna bring the arms above us, right above the head, and we're gonna be standing here for, traditionally we do it for 9 minutes. We're gonna go for 8 today. I think that we can do it. If you need a break, you take a break. But again, the point of this pose is to move some of that heat, move some of that water out. And so you will feel that. When you have your hands above your head for even 5 minutes, the sweat starts to pour down, the river starts to come down the mountain. So a few things here, especially if this is new for you, if you have a wall, you can stand up against a wall. Ideally, you have a block between yourself and your wall, just because you're not gonna have this natural curve in your back means that your butt's gonna touch the wall, probably not your back. But if you wanna stand up against a wall, that's fine. This is also a really great time to stand on the edge of a blanket. Our feet are gonna be together. And again, the hands are gonna interlace, arms overhead. The thing that you're gonna fight for here, and I'm gonna come a little closer to the screen so you can see, is for that interlaced fingers to stay intact. And that the reason why we put a block up here is because we want the hands to stay level. We don't want them tipping forward or tipping back. And if you have a block, it falls over. But you can easily do this without a block. It's also a really great practice to move out heat, to move out energy that you don't need any weights. You don't need anything else for. Any questions before we get started? I'm gonna put on a song again. Was the music okay through that? Great, because a song, music helps us move through it. And then we'll also do a few little movements to move the time. But again, you can just stay where you are. All right, no questions. So we're gonna do this, then we're gonna come down, we're gonna do breath work, and we're gonna be done. So let me just get this. Oh, there we go. Anyone hear that? So get yourself set up. Again, the feet are together, the legs are together, like you have one big leg. If you want to find a wall, you come up to a wall. Ideally, you have a block or a book or something that you can put at your lower back so that you have that support. It's not just like you leaning back on the wall. You want to keep yourself with that natural curve of the spine. And then if you are taking the block in your hands, interlace your hands to the webbing. You can kind of palm the block and lift it up over your head. If you have a friend around, they can place the block for you, but probably most of us don't have friends around right now. I don't. So let's go ahead and begin. Bring your arms up, either having a block or just having your hands above your head will be plenty. And we are going to be here for this song. So this is where you get to go into you. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. I'm gonna come back here so you can see me. You can see that I'm not cheating. If your block falls off, you put it back on. together and find your feet. Arms are in line with your ears. So if your arms are forward or back, bring them in line with your ears. And then core is engaged. So we're not splaying the rib cage open. It's an engagement of the core. Just letting yourself be with whatever comes up. If the stars are all closed, with the word she can get what she can. Whether or not you have a block on your hands, finding all four corners of the palm, pressing up through the inner seam of the hand, the outer seam of the hand, as if you're trying to press into the ceiling above you, even through those palms. You know sometimes words have if you start to feel lightheaded, find your feet. If you start to feel heavy, find your hands. Root down, lift up. Root down, lift up. And if you start to sweat, know that that is the intention here. That is the water coming down your mountain. So from here, we're going to do a few movements. It's going to be through the legs. If it's hard to hear me, just look at the screen and you'll see. So bring your feet into ballet first position, heels together, toes out. And then we'll start to go down into a plie. Keeping the core engaged, keeping the palms reaching up. The heels can lift. And then you'll come all the way up, straightening the legs, lifting up onto releve. Again, this is all optional. You can skip this and just stand, but I find it helpful. Heels come down. Ballet second position. So feet wider than the hips, toes out, heels in. Start to sink your hips low, and this one we don't go as low. So don't let the knees go wider than the heels. And then come all the way up. Lift up through the toes, lift up through the heels, releve. And back down. Ballet third position. So one foot in front of the other. Heel to arch alignment and then start to come down. Sorry, third position is heel to arch. Feet are together. Forgot my ballet. Come all the way up. Lift up onto your toes. Now for what I think is the most challenging fourth position. So there's no contact. You have to equally distribute your weight between your feet as you come down. See if you can equally come down through both feet. And then all the way up. Lift up onto your toes. Fifth position. It's just heel to toe. And start to come down. All the way up. Lift up. Bring the heels down. Bring your feet back together. Come onto your blanket. Find the center of you. Turning down through your feet, lifting all the way up through your hands. Gently release it down. Woohoo! Release it down, come into a forward fold. So again, if you have that blanket, you can place that underneath your heels, widen your feet so that they're hip width distance and parallel, and just let yourself fold. Hanging over yourself. Maybe swaying slightly side to side. Switching which arm is on top. And then releasing, we're gonna come all the way down to a seat. So if you have a block, I recommend sitting up on a block or two. If you have a chair and you wanna go sit in a chair, that is totally cool for this. We're just gonna do a little bit of breath work to bring ourselves back down into reality, back into our bodies, and to seal the practice. Kim said, hot shoulders. Yeah, so if you're at home, stuck at home, safe at home, whatever, and you need to do something challenging, put on a good song. Stairway to Heaven is 8 minutes. You can hold your hands up and maybe move around, but just let that be an excellent workout. So pull the flesh away from your sitting bones wherever you're at. Again, you can be up on a block. I'm on one block in one blanket in Virasana Heroes pose. You can also sit on a chair, totally okay. But you want to feel like you can plug in, that your perineum, your pelvic floor is pointing straight down, rooting you down into the universe. And one last time in our practice today, we're going to work on our lower body. So bring your hands to your hips. And for any of this breath work, you can open your eyes to see what the movement is if you're confused or if this is new to you. But then I do encourage you to close your eyes, as this is meant to be an introspective practice to stoke your internal fires. So we're going to start by undulating the pelvis forward and back. So as you inhale, you'll tilt the pelvis forward. As you exhale, you'll tilt the pelvis back. I like to keep the hands on the hips just as a little reminder here, not actually moving my pelvis with my hands, but just feeling that movement. So inhale forward, exhale back, and starting to pump your breath. So again, we are stoking your fires here, and by working in the lower body, so the pelvis, actually below the diaphragm is considered the lower floor of your body house. And here we are working with the foundational fire. So these are your survival instincts. You can think of it as the first 3 chakras if you're familiar with the chakra system. It's sex, it's money, it's food, it's water, it's our primal needs. Without our primal needs being met, we can't move up. We can't build a house without the foundation. So moving forward and back, you can imagine again that you are stoking this fire. If you're using the metaphor as a house, it is the pilot light that you are lighting in the boiler room, which may mean nothing to many of us who mostly live in apartments, but that's the thing that creates heat for your whole house. So going a little bit longer, forward and back, using the breath in and out. And then go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms up, hook your thumbs above your head as if you're sipping through a straw. Take in 3 more little sips. Hold the breath full, feel what it feels like to be complete, to be filled up, to be satiated, satisfied. And then exhale, imagine the breath shooting out the crown of the head like you're popping the cork to a champagne bottle. Good. Bringing the hands back on the hips. This time we're going to move in circles. So this one for me is extra challenging. Forward and back isn't that challenging for me, but moving in the circles is. So going clockwise to begin, as if there were a compass below you or a clock below you and you were trying to hit all of the hours on the clock. So going forward to 12 o'clock, over to the right, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and back to 12 o'clock. Pushing the tempo, so going a little bit faster once you've got the rhythm. And then if you can, you're inhaling on the left side, exhaling on the right side. Inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. Linking your breath with your movement. This breath being a reminder of, hey, I am alive. I inhabit this body. Going for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath in and then just switch directions. So going counterclockwise. And this might be easier or harder for you. Not judging, just noticing. Like when we circled around the wrists, noticing if there's a place within the circle of your pelvis that's hard for you to go. Is it hard for you to get your pubis forward? Is it hard for you to get your coccyx back? Is it hard for you to find 3 o'clock? Is it hard for you to find 9 o'clock? Again, there's no wrong or right. It's all just important information. All not even important information, information that you can use. Again, inhaling on the left, exhaling on the right, breathing in and out, in and out. Moving the pelvis, moving those ancestral waters. Good, and go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back through center, take a deep breath in, hook your thumbs above your head. Take in 3 little sips. Hold the breath full. And then exhale, imagine the breath popping out the crown of the head, bring the arms down. Feel the sensation in your body. We're gonna move up a floor, up to the upper body. Hands will go over shoulders. And thumbs are in the back, fingers are cupping the shoulders, the pinky can be in the front. We're gonna inhale to the left, so I'm not gonna mirror you here. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right. See if you can keep your pelvis rooted, your perineum pointing down as you rotate around yourself. It does help to close the eyes here. Sometimes you can get a little dizzy if the eyes are open. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Rotating around the torso, and we're moving up here. So we're in the second floor. This is the floor of handling. It's the floor of being. It's your arms, it's your shoulders, it's your heart, it's even your speech. So breathing in and out, just activating those centers. And letting this rotation, letting this activation in this second floor of the body be underpinned by the stability, the foundation of your lower body. In and out, in and out. Go for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in, come to center, reach above, hook your thumbs, opposite awkward thumb on top. Plug in through your perineum. Take in 3 more little sips. Hold it full. And then exhale the breath out the crown of the head. Let the arms release down. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. We're gonna do 2 more. Interlace the fingers to the webbing. So we did this at the beginning of class. Hands come at the base of the skull. Elbows point straight up. So they're not out to the side like a butterfly or like wings. They're tucked up and in as if you were trying to do a headstand on the ceiling, or also you can imagine like you're a little seal and your elbows are the nose and the nose is pointing up. Again, we're gonna go inhale to the left, exhale to the right. So maybe these movements side to side are a little bit smaller, and that's okay. Keep the movement going, keep the breath linking with the movement, and keep your pelvic floor plugging down. So if you start to feel all funny here and you're moving all over the place, plug into your block and let that connection provide you with a stable base to move up, in and out, in and out. So we're still working on that second floor, the floor of the doing, but moving up. This is more for your throat, your speech. And when you have a good foundation, you have a good base, and your heart is in the right direction, your speech can articulate your heart's desires. Keep going, in and out, in and out, in and out. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in. You can just keep the arms where they are. Take in 3 more little sips. Exhale, let it go. Let the arms come down. Let your eyes stay closed. Feel the sensation, the waves of sensation as they wash through you. All right, last one. Interlace the fingers, pointer fingers point up, fingers up, arms in line with your ears, and it's almost like you're squeezing yourself. You're giving your head a little squeeze. And same thing, we're gonna move in and out, into the left, inhale to the left, exhale to the right, but it's a very small movement, almost just like a little vibration. I like to think that I'm trying to screw myself in like I were a light bulb. I'm trying to screw myself into the universe. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Again, rooting through the perineum, through the pelvic floor, letting that foundation, and then letting the movement of your arms underpin this bigger vision. So we're moving up to the 3rd floor in your body house, which we haven't really talked about. It's your vision, your higher vision, your connection to something bigger than you, spirituality, a bigger purpose. And so we need that foundation of the legs, the pelvis, the lower body. We need the capacity of the upper body to then have our vision and bring it into reality. So in and out, in and out. Just a few more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in. Take in 3 more little sips like you're sipping through a straw. 1 more sniff for good luck. Hold it ripe, hold it full, feel the apex. And then exhale, let it go, let the eyes stay closed. Drop the hands down. Take a breath in and a breath out. Just allowing yourself this moment. Noticing any sensations in your body and noticing any thoughts in your mind. And as you notice them, also knowing that you are something bigger. You are something greater. You are something more dynamic than your thoughts, your feelings, any labels that you put on yourself. You are not the earth, you are not the sky, you are something in between. The mediator, the modulator, the meditator. The I, the center of your own universe. Take a full breath in. Open the mouth, let it go. Opening up the eyes. And that is class. I'm sorry we went a few minutes over. Thank you to everyone who stayed. I'm going to stop the recording and